Have you ever met someone who felt like more than just a soulmate? Someone who didn't simply share your interests or comfort your heart, but mirrored the deepest layers of your soul. Perhaps they awakened emotions in you that you didn't know existed, or changed the direction of your life in ways you still struggle to explain. And yet, instead of feeling safe, the intensity of this bond may have left you unsettled, even frightened. You find yourself asking, what is this connection? And why does it feel so different from anything else I've ever known? In today's video on Spiritual Universe, we are going to dive into one of the greatest mysteries of love and soul connection, the twin flame bond. This is not your ordinary love story. Twin flames are not just two people in love. They are two halves of the same soul, separated at the beginning of time and sent to Earth to rediscover one another. And when they finally do meet, the connection is magnetic, life-changing, and at times, beautifully chaotic. Today, you'll uncover the 7 rare and undeniable signs that prove you've encountered your true twin flame. By the end of this exploration, you'll begin to see love in a completely different light. These signs go far beyond romance, touching every part of your soul's journey. Some will be breathtaking, others deeply challenging, but all of them will transform you at the core of who you are. So stay with us until the very end of this video, because what you discover here may not only answer your deepest questions, but also change how you understand your path, your love, and yourself forever. Number 1. Instant recognition. The first sign arrives like a lightning-quiet jolt, an overwhelming rush of instant recognition that stops time for a breath. Your eyes meet, and the world falls to a hush. Conversations blur into background static. The clatter of life softens, and something deep within you whispers with absolute certainty, I know you. It is not a crush, not simple chemistry, and not the thrill of novelty. It is a certainty beneath logic, an ancient familiarity that sits in the chest and steadies the breath, the way you might feel when you turn a corner and suddenly find yourself standing in front of your childhood home. You may notice details that shouldn't be possible at a first meeting. The exact warmth of their gaze, the cadence of their voice, the way their presence settles your nervous system, as if you've stepped out of a storm. Many twin flames describe this encounter as a spiritual shock, not chaotic, but clarifying a flash of recognition that rearranges your inner world in an instant. Paradoxically, it feels like calm in the center of chaos, a still point where everything makes sense for reasons you can't explain. Your mind scrambles to categorize the moment, yet your soul is already certain. This recognition often carries physical cues. Your body may respond before your thoughts do, a sudden wave of heat, a tingling along the spine, a flutter that feels less like anxiety and more like alignment. Time can stretch or condense. Minutes feel like hours, or hours pass in what seems like a single conversation. You might catch a scent that feels inexplicably familiar, or notice that their gestures echo your own small reflections that make you wonder how two people who have never met can move as if they've been practicing this dance for lifetimes. The ease between you is unmistakable. Words flow before you have time to craft them, as if you're remembering a script you wrote together long ago. You find yourselves diving straight into the true topics, values, fears, dreams, skipping the usual small talk because it feels unnecessary. And when the words stop, the silence isn't awkward, it's sacred. You sit inside it with no urge to fill the space, feeling understood without translation, held without effort. The connection has the texture of a conversation paused yesterday and resumed today, with no gap to bridge. Even if you try to rationalize it, we just clicked. They remind me of someone. It's strong attraction, the inner knowing doesn't waver. Attraction may be present, but it is not the point. The recognition runs deeper than preference or type. It speaks in the language of memory you can't place and promises you didn't know you'd made. When twin flames meet, it feels like finding a door in your own house you never noticed, opening it and stepping into a room that's been waiting for you all along. If you felt all of this at a first encounter, the sudden quiet, the steady calm, the effortless words, the holy silence you've experienced, the signature of instant recognition. It is the soul's way of saying, we know each other, we always have. Welcome back. Before we move on to the next sign, I want to invite you to pause and reflect on what we've just uncovered. Have you ever experienced that uncanny moment of instant recognition, that meeting where everything around you faded, and deep inside, you just knew this person without explanation? If so, your story matters. Share it in the comments below and let others feel inspired by your journey. And if you're not sure yet, but this message resonated with you, simply type, "I know you," in the comments as an affirmation. Your reflection and your words could be the light that helps someone else recognize their own experience. Now, let's continue into the next powerful sign of the twin flame connection. Number 2, deep emotional connection. The bond between twin flames is not just emotional, it is profoundly spiritual, reaching into depths that ordinary love stories rarely touch. When you meet your twin flame, it is as if you share the same heart, beating in two different bodies. This connection surpasses words, logic, or physical presence. It carries with it a silent language that only the two of you understand, a current of energy that flows without interruption, no matter the distance between you. You may find that you sense one another's feelings instantly, almost as if they were your own. If your twin flame is in pain, a heaviness settles in your chest, even without knowing why. If they experience joy, a wave of lightness washes over you, lifting your spirit in ways you cannot explain. This bond is not dependent on constant communication through messages or conversations. It thrives in the unseen. It is transmitted through pure energy, subtle yet undeniable, alive in every breath you take. The connection is ever present, as though an invisible thread binds the two of you across time and space. No matter where you go, that bond remains, quietly reminding you of the soul that mirrors your own. It pushes you to feel more deeply than you ever thought possible, awakening emotions long buried beneath years of conditioning, fear, or silence. It challenges you to face your shadows, to rise above your wounds, and to embrace the parts of yourself you once hid. This is the gift and the challenge of the twin flame journey. The intensity of this emotional bond can feel overwhelming at times, but it is never meant to destroy, it is meant to awaken. Through this connection, you learn not only how deeply you can love another soul, but also how profoundly you can rediscover yourself. It is a reminder that love, in its purest form, is not bound by distance, circumstance, or reason. Instead, it is eternal energy, ever alive, ever calling both souls into greater awareness, growth, and transformation. Number 3, intense magnetism. One of the most undeniable signs of a twin flame bond is the intense magnetism that pulls you toward one another. This is not the simple spark of attraction or the temporary rush of infatuation. It is something much deeper, something that seems to defy both logic and reason. From the very first encounter, there is an unexplainable force at work, a gravitational pull between your souls that no distance, no circumstance, and no obstacle can fully break. Life may scatter you to different paths, force you into other relationships, or place challenges that appear insurmountable, yet somehow, almost mysteriously, the two of you are drawn back together again and again. This connection goes far beyond the physical. Yes, there may be a powerful chemistry, but the true magnetism lies in the emotional and spiritual bond that underpins it. Even in moments of silence, even during times of long separation, the energy between twin flames remains alive, like a subtle vibration humming in the background of your life. You might go about your daily routine, convincing yourself that you have moved on, but then a thought, a dream, or even a sudden wave of emotion will remind you that this connection still lives within you. It is not simply desire or longing, it is recognition at the soul level. It is the awareness that this person is part of you, and that no matter how hard you try to sever the bond, something greater keeps tying you back together. Many describe this as a thread of energy, invisible yet unbreakable, weaving itself through every chapter of their life. And unlike ordinary relationships, this tie is not sustained by choice, timing, or convenience. It is sustained by a force that transcends human control, the spiritual energy that binds twin flames as reflections of the same soul. This is why walking away often feels impossible. You may attempt to close the door, bury the feelings, or lose yourself in other connections, but deep down, part of you remains tethered. It is not weakness, it is the nature of this bond. Twin flames are not held together by promises or obligations. They are held together by energy, an energy that cannot be silenced, cannot be erased, and cannot be replaced. It is this magnetic force, mysterious and eternal, that ensures no matter how far you drift, your souls will always find their way back to one another. Imagine two people who meet briefly in college, sharing only a few conversations before life carries them in opposite directions. Years pass, and they build separate lives, careers, relationships, even families. On the surface, it looks as though they have completely moved on. Yet, despite the time and distance, they find themselves thinking of each other without reason. A song, a scent, or even a dream will bring the other's presence rushing back as if no years have passed at all. Then one day, by pure coincidence, they cross paths again in a city neither of them planned to visit. The connection reignites instantly. No awkwardness, no need for explanation, just the quiet recognition that the magnetic pull never truly disappeared. This is the essence of twin flame energy. No matter how far life scatters you, an invisible thread keeps drawing you back to the soul that mirrors your own. Number 4. The mirror effect. One of the most powerful and at times most unsettling aspects of the twin flame journey is what many call the mirror effect. Unlike any other relationship, this bond does not merely reflect your beauty, your strength, or the best parts of who you are. Instead, your twin flame becomes a living mirror of your entire being, both the light you proudly show the world and the shadows you often try to hide. When you stand in front of them, you cannot escape yourself. They reflect your hidden fears, your deepest insecurities, and the wounds you have carried, perhaps unconsciously, for years. At first, this can feel overwhelming. To see your own patterns, the habits that hold you back, the triggers you thought you had buried, the doubts you hoped no one would ever notice, suddenly staring back at you through the eyes of another person, can be uncomfortable, even painful. But this exposure is not meant to harm you. It is not cruelty, nor is it rejection. It is, in fact, an act of profound love. The twin flame connection forces what is hidden to rise to the surface, not to shame you, but to heal you. Through this reflection, you gain a level of self-awareness that few people ever experience. You begin to recognize cycles you have repeated in relationships, the ways you have sabotaged yourself, and the emotional scars that still influence your choices. What once stayed buried in silence is illuminated, demanding that you finally address it. This process is rarely easy. Growth never is. Yet it is precisely through this discomfort that transformation begins to take root. Your twin flame will not allow you to remain stagnant. They cannot, because the bond was never created for the sake of comfort. It was created for evolution. Every time they trigger an old wound, every time they reveal a piece of yourself you would rather avoid, they are calling you higher, urging you to release what no longer serves you. The connection itself demands honesty, accountability, and courage, because without those qualities, the journey cannot progress. In this sense, the mirror effect is not a punishment but a gift, an invitation to grow into the most authentic and powerful version of yourself. Twin flames do not come together to maintain the illusion of peace or to settle into ordinary patterns. They come together to awaken, to evolve, and to transform. The love they share is too sacred to allow either soul to remain small. It insists on expansion, and while the path can be intense, the reward is unparalleled. The chance to see yourself fully, heal deeply, and rise into the truth of who you are meant to be. If you've made it this far, it means something in this message has touched your heart, and I want to invite you to pause for a moment of reflection. Think about the ways your twin flame, or even other close connections in your life, have acted as a mirror for you. What hidden truths have been revealed? What wounds have been brought to the surface for healing? Your story has the power to inspire others walking this same path, so I encourage you to share it in the comments below. And if you're not ready to share in detail, you can simply type, "I am ready to face my reflection," as a powerful affirmation that you are embracing growth and transformation on your journey. Number 5. Shared life patterns. One of the most striking and undeniable signs of a twin flame connection is the discovery of shared life patterns. At first glance, it may seem unbelievable that two people who have walked such different paths could carry echoes of the same story. Yet time and again, twin flames find themselves astonished by the uncanny parallels that shape their lives. It could be that both endured childhood traumas of a similar nature, carrying wounds that mirror one another. Perhaps they both lived in the same city years apart, walking the same streets, visiting the same places, yet never crossing paths until destiny deemed the moment was right. Sometimes it shows up in the form of parallel struggles, financial setbacks, heartbreaks, health challenges, or family burdens, all of which seem to carve them into the people they needed to become before reuniting. These parallels are not mere coincidences. The universe does not play dice with connections as profound as this. Instead, these experiences act like invisible threads, weaving both souls along journeys that are separate yet synchronized. Long before they lay eyes on each other, their souls are being aligned through mirrored lessons, shaping their growth so they are prepared to meet and recognize one another. Every struggle becomes a reflection, every challenge an echo, and every repeated pattern a sign that a deeper connection has always been guiding their lives in the background. When twin flames finally discover these overlapping experiences, it feels like proof that something greater than chance is at play. It affirms the sense that their meeting was not accidental, but divinely orchestrated. And in realizing this, they begin to understand that their connection is timeless. It has been written into their lives long before they consciously knew it. These shared life patterns serve as powerful reminders that the bond of twin flames is not just about love in the present moment, but about alignment across lifetimes, orchestrated to bring them together when the time is right. Number 6. Telepathic communication. Another extraordinary sign of the twin flame connection is the experience of telepathic communication. Twin flames often find themselves so deeply attuned to one another that it feels as though they are sharing the same mental and emotional frequency. It is not unusual for them to think the exact same thought at the same time, to finish each other's sentences without effort, or to send a message only to discover that the other has just sent one in return. These moments feel too precise to be coincidences instead. They reveal a deeper, energetic thread that ties their minds and hearts together. But the connection goes far beyond simple words or surface-level exchanges. Telepathy between twin flames often takes place in the subtle, quiet spaces where language is not required. They may dream of one another with startling clarity, receiving messages or visions that later unfold in waking life. At times, one may suddenly feel the urge to reach out, check in, or send love, only to discover that their twin was going through a significant emotional experience at that very moment. This intuitive nudge acts like an invisible signal, reminding both souls that no matter the distance or circumstance, they are never truly apart. Such communication does not rely on phones, texts, or constant updates. Instead, it is a channel of pure energy, alive, open, and ever-present. Once awakened, this channel rarely shuts off. It becomes part of the way twin flames interact with one another, whether consciously or unconsciously. Even in times of silence or separation, the flow of energy remains, like an undercurrent quietly running beneath the surface of daily life. For those experiencing it, this telepathic bond is both awe-inspiring and reassuring. It affirms that the connection they share is not limited to the physical world, but is anchored in the spiritual and energetic realms. It reminds them that they are not only linked by love, but by a profound soul frequency that defies distance and time. And perhaps most importantly, it teaches them to trust the unseen, to recognize that their intuition is often the language of their twin flame, speaking directly to their soul. Number 7. Spiritual awakening. Perhaps the most profound and transformative sign of a twin flame connection is the experience of spiritual awakening. Meeting your twin flame is not just an encounter that alters your relationship status. It is an event that shifts the very foundation of your soul. From the moment this connection takes root, it stirs something deep within, awakening parts of you that may have been dormant for years or lifetimes. Suddenly, you are propelled into questions about your higher purpose, your soul's journey, and the meaning of love itself. This awakening is rarely subtle. For some, it arrives like a lightning strike, sudden, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. For others, it unfolds more gently, as if layers of truth are revealed one by one, guiding them deeper into self-discovery. Regardless of how it manifests, its impact is undeniable. Life before meeting your twin flame and life after are not the same. The connection opens doors to higher wisdom, pulling you into realms of consciousness you may never have explored otherwise. Many find themselves drawn toward meditation, mindfulness, energy healing, or spiritual practices they once overlooked. Intuition sharpens, synchronicities multiply, and awareness expands far beyond the physical world. You begin to see life not just as a series of random events, but as a divine tapestry woven with intention and meaning. This expansion often brings clarity about old wounds, karmic cycles, and hidden patterns, urging you to heal and grow in ways you may have resisted before. Spiritual awakening through a twin flame is not always comfortable, but it is always purposeful. It strips away illusions, dissolves false identities, and calls forth your most authentic self. Through this awakening, you begin to embody the truth that the twin flame journey is not only about union with another soul, but about union with the divine essence within yourself. And once this door has been opened, there is no going back, because the awakening of your soul is eternal, and its light will continue to guide you forward on your path. If these signs resonate with you, take a quiet moment to reflect. Ask yourself honestly, is there someone in your life who feels like more than a fleeting connection? Someone who awakens you, challenges you, and transforms you in ways that words can barely describe. A twin flame connection is not about ordinary romance. It is about recognition, awakening, and transformation on a soul level. Not everyone will meet their twin flame in this lifetime, but for those who do, the experience marks a turning point. Life as you knew it no longer remains the same, because these connections are not accidents of chance. They are written in the stars long before you took your first breath, carefully woven into the fabric of your destiny. They are both fire and mirror, the fire that reshapes you, and the mirror that reveals who you were always meant to become. So I want to challenge you, beautiful soul. Pause and look within. Who is that person in your life who reflects back the deepest parts of you? Who comes to mind when you hear the phrase, "written in the stars"? Comment that exact phrase below as your affirmation and share your story if you feel called to. Your voice matters, and your journey may be the light someone else needs today. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to like this video, share it with those who may need these words, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a message meant for you. And when you're ready to go deeper, the video waiting just below your screen will guide you further on this path. Until then, remember, love is not just found, it is lived, and your destiny has already been written in the stars.